My name is Keri Macklin, and I'm the Senior Director of Strategic Energy Management for CLEAResult. I oversee all of CLEAResult's SEM programs across North America. Currently, we have over 1,300 sites that are active in SEM across 15 states and provinces. I am here today to tell you the story of SEM for LFE. Every time I write or read SEM for LFE, I think SEM for life. While that is not what LFE stands for, I like the sentiment anyway. Canada, not just the home to amazing scenery, maple syrup, and extreme politeness, it is also the home to some of our most exciting and innovative SEM programs that we are running today. In 2019, after a successful launch of our greenhouse gas-focused programs in Alberta, Canada, we were approached by Natural Resources Canada and the Government of Alberta to design a program specifically for the largest greenhouse gas emitters in the province. LFE stands for Large Final Emitters, and it is Canada's way of defining the major emitters in their country. It is defined as any facility that emits more than 10,000 tons of CO2e. As you can see from this map, Alberta has more than its fair share of LFE, since it contains the bulk of Canada's known fossil fuels and produces the vast majority of Canada's natural gas and crude oil, and roughly half of its coal. While oil and gas are the majority of LFEs in Alberta, there are other sectors represented as well, such as power plants, metal manufacturing, cement, and even food processing. One thing all of these sites have in common, they are highly sophisticated organizations with a lot of knowledge about energy, greenhouse gases, and operational excellence. So it was up to us to figure out how to adapt our greenhouse gas-focused SEM for these LFEs. Given the operational excellence of these sites, we knew we needed an internationally recognized framework to bring these sites through. Since SEM is a program based on ISO 50001 standard, we worked with the US Department of Energy's 50001 Navigator tool and adapted it for use in Canada. Natural Resources Canada is also working to put out a tool of their own soon. Once we had the framework and program design, it was time to recruit our cohorts. We kept the cohort element of the program intact. Routinely, we hear, this is the most important part of SEM, learning from other organizations. We focus on 2 geographic areas, Edmonton and Fort McMurray, and mapped all of the LFEs that were registered in those regions. We found contacts and utilized many outreach techniques to spread the word about this innovative new program. It took us about 2 months to recruit the 13 LFEs into the program. We ended up with a nice variety of organizations representing 7 main sectors. While gas processing, SAGD or in situ, and petrochemical are all in the oil and gas sector, we also recruited representatives from power plants, food processing, metals, and pulp and paper. In total, this group emits over 13 million tons of the equivalent CO2 every year. To put this number into perspective, the total amount of greenhouse gas emissions from the 13 LFEs in the SEM program is just over 3 million annual homes energy use. That is more than the population of Toronto and just under the population of Los Angeles. That's just 13 organizations. While we were analyzing the impacts of this program, I got a little lightheaded. It could be so huge. With the 13 organizations recruited, there was nothing left to do but kick off the program. We held 2 kickoffs, one in Edmonton and one in Fort McMurray. This was 2019, so pre-pandemic and in-person workshops. From the beginning, it was clear that putting all LFEs in one room was going to produce impressive impacts. The organizations started talking to each other and comparing notes on how to be more efficient. We saw that despite the differences in these sites and processes, they had a lot in common and they could help each other with new and innovative ideas. They took all of those ideas back to their plants and we met them there. We conducted energy scans at all 13 participating LFEs. We brought in expert engineers from around our company to cover the complexities of the LFE sites. Whereas most SEM energy scans focus only on electricity or maybe natural gas, Because we were focused on greenhouse gases, the scans were conducted on an impressive range of fuels, including coal, biomass, diesel, and black liquor. In addition, we were allowed to look at fuel switching. This is accomplishing the same task with a different, less carbon-intense fuel. All in all, almost 750 opportunities were identified for the participants. Right away, we started seeing the impact of SEM. One of our most successful LFE participants was a power plant. In line with Canada's goals to phase out traditional coal-fired electricity by 2030, the SEM team focused on fuel conversion planning. During the energy scan, they noted that the fuel conversion shutdown is a great window to execute energy efficiency projects. Therefore, they completed opportunities during that shutdown. In addition, once the fuel was converted, they focused on optimizing those systems whose purpose had changed due to that conversion. This resulted in significant savings, an impressive 5.2% reduction in their greenhouse gas emissions. Another successful example is our petrochemical participant. At this plant, the SEM team developed multiple platforms to collect energy efficiency ideas from across the plant. They used an idea management tool, a suggestion box, as well as held open energy team meetings. One idea that came from that suggestion box resulted in significant savings. The suggestion was to schedule the freeze protection on the cooling tower heat exchanger during the summer months. Simple, yet no one had thought about it until they asked for ideas. This, along with other project implementation, saved the plant just over 1% of their overall emissions in the first year in SEM. And for an LFE, 1% is over 1,500 tons of CO2. The final example I'm going to go over is from a metals manufacturer. The decision we made to include 50,001 Ready in the SEM program helped to solidify the energy management processes and added more value to other programs at the site. The energy team managed to integrate tools and resources introduced through the 25 tasks of the 50,001 Ready tool into their sustainability program. They introduced an onboarding energy training module, created Sustainability Month, and introduced internal audits and management reviews to check overall program effectiveness. Through this disciplined approach, this participant saved over 1,000 tons of GHG in their first year. We kicked off the program in the late fall of 2019. So we have the results of the first year of the program, which was nothing short of mind-blowing. We have conducted over 10 group workshops, all virtual after COVID, 80 one-on-one events, and over 95 opportunities were implemented at the sites. But most of all, the LFEs saved over 300,000 tons of greenhouse gases in 1 year, all through low and no cost operational maintenance and behavior changes. Using the 5-year measure life that SEM has been proven to have, that equates to over 1.5 million tons of greenhouse gases removed from the atmosphere. I can't overstate how impactful this program has been in just the 22 months that we have been running it. The amount of greenhouse gases saved is more than the population of Vancouver, BC, or we could take away most of the Vancouverites' cars. But beyond that, it makes so much economic sense. The participants saved over $330 million in fuel savings and carbon taxes. This program costs less than 50 cents per ton of greenhouse gas saved, and every $1 into the program resulted in $223 of economic stimulus to the people of Alberta. While it is too early to report on the second year savings, we are seeing a doubling of the first year savings. But what about the 50,001 experiment? When we started this program, very few sites in Canada had been recognized by Natural Resources Canada as 50,001 Ready, and none in Alberta. So we wanted to see how many we could get through all the tasks needed to be recognized. To date, 7 of the 13 participants are expected to complete all 25 tasks associated with 50,001 Ready by the end of the 2-year program. And they will be recognized by the Natural Resources Canada for this significant achievement. While the rest of the participants are not expected to complete the 50,001 tasks by the end of the 2-year cycle, most of the remaining are more than halfway there and will likely complete the final tasks needed. All in all, this program has been a shining star for the CLEAResult SEM portfolio. significantly contributing to the impact of our SEM programs across North America. It is hard not to envision the change to the global environment if all large final emitters took on the practice of strategic greenhouse gas management like the 13 did in Alberta. We should strive to make SEM for LFE, SEM for life. I hope you enjoyed my story of SEM for LFE, and I'm going to stick around to answer some questions.